From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Hey everybody, welcome back. Scott Robinson with you for another edition of Beyond the Humidor. I'm kicking back here with my usual cohorts and a couple of guests. So I'm just going to take it around the room and just see how everybody's doing. Larry, how are you?
So far, so good.
Outstanding. How about you, Gregory?
It's not bad. It's a good day.
All right, so let's just hop onto this clown car and introduce our guest. We have the lovely Sarah Belt with us. Sarah, how you doing?
I am standing, well, sitting upright.
Confused is the answer.
No, but thanks for playing. Next.
And from Danny Deez Cigar, one of our former guests, Danny Harrison. Almost said Harrelson because you had that in my head.
Now, how did I have it in your head? You're the one that said it. I corrected you.
You're right.
Wow.
You're right. I messed up. See? No E rating yet. How you doing, Danny?
Excellent. Thank you.
Good. Well, we are fresh back from the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival 2022. Now, the three of us here, Hank Hill and No Jack over there, we're old hat at it. So we wanted to get a newbie's perspective on the festival. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're doing this on a weeknight, actually. And so my drinking and alcoholism is actually more fitting because it's in the evening.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
It doesn't make a difference at all.
It truly does not. But let's just take around the room and see what everybody's smoking. So ladies first, Sarah, what are you smoking?
I'm smoking a good old backup, the Tatuaje Petite Lancero Black Label. It's all things Nicaraguan and probably one of my favorite go-tos. It used to be something that was exclusive. You could only get at events. And then Pete Johnson was a very nice human being and decided that he would release those to the public regularly.
Nice. Danny, what are you smoking?
I got also Tatuaje, the Tattoo Miami 10, 52 by I think it's 5 3/8. It's all Nicaraguan, binder, wrapper, and filler.
Okay. One of the pickups I got from the festival, compliments of Nicholas Perdomo's fine cigar establishment. I have the Perdomo 20th anniversary in Connecticut. All Nicaraguan, coming from Three Valleys, the Esteli, Condega, and the Jalapa Valley. And really enjoying this. I've always enjoyed the Perdomo 10th anniversary, the Champagne, which was always a very nice cigar. You can still get your hands on them. So when I saw these 20s, I just snatched them up. And I think we got some in our bag this year. Greg didn't because he was steerage.
Way to work that in.
Good.
Softballed that right over the plate. That was nice. That was nice.
Larry, what are you smoking, my friend?
I've got a Camacho today. One of the newer releases from Camacho, the Unleashed, the white label, Connecticut. Really, I've had 3 or 4 of these because they carry them here in our local brick and mortar. And we did pick up some more of these while we were in Denver, and we did get one of these in our grab bag of freebies. It's what you would expect out of the Camacho line. It's a solid cigar. It's very flavorful, and it's really, really smooth, really mellow cigar. Not a lot of complexity, just nice, relaxing smoke out of this Camacho.
Yeah, you and I talked about this. Not that I was ever against the Camacho line. It's just I just never really smoked them. And I know we were at the Camacho table and we saw the packet of Unleashed, and you were real excited about them. I was like, if you're excited about them, I'm gonna have to try these out. So I wound up getting a pack of them, and I smoked one of them a couple days ago. My only regret is I didn't buy 2.
Yeah,
but I think I bought enough.
Now,
so
having been at this for quite a while, and I think Danny's been smoking long enough too that he can back me up on this. Camacho's entire line has improved dramatically over the last several years. And that I would say probably more so than any other major brand out there. their cigars have just gotten just better and better and better over the years. So if you haven't picked up anything from Camacho, and if you're a longtime cigar smoker and it's been 10 years since you've had a Camacho, it is time to come back around, folks.
Oh yeah.
The Saturday when we got registered, I reached in the grab bag and just grabbed a cigar so we could have something to light, smoke and while we were waiting around. And I pulled the Black Label, which was free in the bag. That's a double Maduro, and that was amazing. That was another one, man. I smoked that right down to, I could possibly light the mustache on fire. And, that was a great stick. And that's coming from something too, that might not have been super humidified correctly, because it was, part of the giveaway, and and I mean, there's Bovita packs and everything in those bags. But,
Yeah.
how long were those sitting out before they got put in the bag and stuff like that? So that might not have been the best experience of that cigar, and it was still great,
Right.
So
They got phenomenal construction to them.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, and it's just I haven't had a bad draw. I haven't had a Camacho blow up on me. I haven't had a bad one in years now, and our local brick and mortar here where we record has a pretty extensive line of Camachos, and you're going to find something in their line right now. I don't care where your palate lies, light, dark, medium, somewhere. They have a stick that you're going to be happy with.
One of the things that was really kick-ass at the Camacho booth was that Scorpion. They had a pair of Scorpions, man. Were they wood? I think there is, or was it composite?
I think it was
wood.
I don't know, man. It was heavy enough that I think it could have been wood, but the feel of it was almost like it was a composite. So if it was wood, then it was definitely sprayed over with something. I don't even know what, but yeah, super cool.
Yeah, they offered for us to take one, take them because we got additional swag for what we bought. But I was just thinking, that is a badass Scorpion. But the problem is, I don't know where I'd put it.
Well, and we were already,
Transporting.
getting it home was already an issue.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Hey, Greg, we don't want to leave you out here. What are you smoking, my friend?
So, my name is Greg. I have a cigar problem.
Among other things.
Yes, but we don't have that much time. So I picked out. There's a cigar company that it's newer on the market, but it's not brand new. It's Cadwell Cigar Company, and this one happens to be the last czar. And this one is the second edition that they've had out. Beautiful Maduros, and most of our listeners know I'm not typically a Maduro smoker, so this one is the second release. The original blend were in white boxes. These are in cream boxes, if that's relevant. It is they say it's a full-strength cigar. Much like many that I've smoked, this is a solid medium, but it's definitely full-flavored. It is guess what? They don't tell me what it is. No binder, wrapper, or filler. So it's a Toro. Dark Maduro. It's definitely one in the Cadwell line. If you can find them at your local brick and mortars, I advise you pick them up. I'm not going to tell you where I bought most of mine, but they're just good, solid sticks. And I don't think you guys have tried. Well, you've tried one. Larry needs to try one still.
Yeah, I have not tried one of those
I'll
yet.
get you one. I got like 60 of them now.
And quality of stick per price point is
Phenomenal.
really good. Yeah. And that's, we're careful about, saying stuff like that too often. It is what it is. You buy what you like, within reason and the price point. Before we started recording today, the Cuban cigar topic came up again here in the shop amongst everybody that was in here. And, that price point is ridiculous now as far as I'm concerned. But you can find good quality cigars at just about every price point.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about for a second the last czar, the one you gave me the other day.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of that one.
Yeah, we were trying to hunt that one down.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger than a Corona. It's 40 by 5, I think. So it's not a true Corona, but I didn't even know that one existed. I go to the Cadwell booth at Rocky Mountain. I'm like, hey, I love the Last Czar. So do you have any? And they're like, well, yeah, I got this one, which was the Last Czar Churchill. I'm like, well, yeah, give me that one. He goes, and if you like that one, you need to buy these too. These are the Louis something. I don't have Louis the Last. Thank you.
Good.
Somebody was paying attention. I clearly
Somebody
wasn't.
may have bought a box.
Yes, you'll love them. But
You don't say.
I was not.
Oh.
They didn't bother to tell me that they were Last Czars.
Well,
Oh, I didn't know that.
hold
No,
on.
yeah, they
I
are.
need to conduct some commerce on the show here. You have a box, you say. What would it take to get you out of that box?
Scott, you should be addressing me, not her. I have 2 boxes of those.
Oh, yeah, go to him.
So, Greg,
Hey, man,
when are you home?
Yeah, this is the same guy that clowned you on the Christoph cigar, remember? And you're gonna try. You think you're gonna get something out of this guy?
Commerce.
Yeah.
It's just business.
We can negotiate.
Start with a heavier threat.
See, I'm trying to be
Look,
nice.
look.
See,
The
I
reality-
said commerce, not extortion.
The reality of the
We know what you
situation
meant.
is much like when I go to Scott's house. He knows where my humidor is. He knows it's open.
Well, and the thing about his house is somebody's generally always home. You just have to ring the doorbell.
That's
and
true.
Then just
Avon calling.
Yeah. Trick or treat, cigars only.
give mom a hug and then keep on moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good point. And the dog likes me,
dog kind of likes you.
kind of, just enough where it won't eat me alive.
Dog
so
doesn't.
that's
Dog
fine.
doesn't want to kill you, so we're good with that.
Dog's 137 years old, man. That son of a bitch ain't even getting up. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a black guy. Come on in. Humidor's over there.
It's more like Bailey looks up and goes, same color. Off you go.
You might need to walk over Bailey to get to the humidor, but it's fine.
It's a tough.
Yeah,
guy.
because unlike him, I actually have a substantial animal that's a dog, not a muppet.
Harley's cute.
Yes, she is.
Why are you talking about my dog?
Hey, I loved your text since we're on your dog for just a second. Robinson has a fur missile. It's not a dog.
Yeah, that's true.
How old is this thing now? It's like 7 months.
Nah, let's see, October, so she's getting close to a year, so she's about
She
10
should be
months.
settling down any day now.
No, 3 to 4 years.
Jesus.
I mean, she
Christ.
launches at you from across the house, and you don't have this problem, but the rest of us do. Those first 2 paws are rather uncomfortable most of the time.
Oh, let me explain something. When I'm on my comfy, what do you call it?
Throne.
Yes, on my throne, relaxed, and she
Not that
launches.
kind of throne.
The one in the living room.
That one.
Good save.
The
Yeah.
blue one.
Anyway,
Anyway.
She launches from the hallway, comes up, gets a nice solid leap, and lands right on my nuts.
oh,
Every
She's
time.
done that more than once.
does she come straight down from the stairs and miss the corner ever?
Oh yeah, she's done that where she's a klutz. So she
Go
comes
straight
down
into
the
that
stairs,
wall?
Yep, knocking, and she just comes running back.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know, Larry. I was dogless for all of a month.
I cannot wait to meet Harley.
Scott comes rolling into the cigar shop. We got a puppy. And I'm thinking under my breath, you a dumb son of a bitch. It's like, dude, why? I mean,
And I quote, "It's
Tiny
so,
wife.
It's so quiet."
Oh,
well, we could have come over and been loud. I mean, Jesus, you got to ask for help next time. Jesus Christ. What's the matter with you?
More like cry for help. But
There we go. So, flying. We had to fly to Denver. And I don't know how y'all feel about this. I hate flying. I hate everything about it now. It just sucks. We did not have one open seat on the plane either direction.
oh, neither did we.
And
We're on the same damn flight.
Not
not
back.
home.
Oh, not home. Okay. Sorry.
Oops.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm done with all this shit, man. Yeah. And I think the thing about the whole trip that defined the moment is when we got to the Denver airport to fly home. And Scott and I walk up to the baggage check outside the front of the airport. All right. And there's this like 70-year-old Filipino guy working the right-hand check. And I walk up there. I got two bags that I'm checking because I had to go to Target and buy another suitcase because I bought so much shit. And I set the bag up there, and he goes, "Who? He's a little overweight." And first thing I thought is, "Hey, fuck you, man. I look good." But anyway, I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You want to take something out of that bag?" I'm thinking to myself, dude, we are all the way to the airport. I know this bag is heavy, okay? I drug this son of a bitch from the hotel to the rental car, from the rental car to the bus that gets you there, from the bus to you. I know this goddamn bag's overweight. Don't you think if I was going to take something out of it, I would have taken it out by now, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, nah, man, we're good. How much is it? And all indignantly, he looks at me and says, "It is $75. I'm like,
Oh, damn.
here you go.
Wild.
58 pounds. I was at 58.6 pounds, and the limit's 50. And I'm whatever. But here's my question. What are they doing with that $75? Okay, why has it got to be $75, number one? And number two, what are they doing with that $75? Because if you're sitting on the plane, you look out the window, and you watch these fools loading a bag, what's the difference between that bag being 50 pounds and being 58 pounds? Because all they are doing, and I'm sure these are, probably, all they are doing.
No, money.
No, I get it. But all they are doing is taking a bag off of this little train car looking thing and moving it 1.5 feet to a frickin' belt to take it up into the plane. Who gives a shit how much this bag weighs?
And then the inside of the plane just shove and it'll roll across the rollers down the bottom.
Now the only thing that would concern me is if we're so close on weight that 8 pounds is going to make a difference on whether this son of a bitch stays in the air or not. Okay. Now that could be a concern.
Not that I'm defending the airline, but it kind of de-incentivizes. Your 8 pounds is not a big deal.
Sue's
100
100-pound suitcase.
Yeah. It's like the other 100 people who decide to go over, at 8 pounds, that's 800 more pounds or even worse.
So this is the equivalent of if you do that, you're going to get a spanking when you were a kid deterrent, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that didn't work. I paid the $75.
There is another airline that will charge $400 if your bag is over 100
Ooh,
pounds.
let me guess. Allegiant, Sprint,
American.
I don't remember. I will have to ask. But yes, we met up with a buddy of ours who's out of Oregon, and he was very excited that his bag weighed 93 pounds. So he's still going to have to pay like $100 work trip. It's all going to be covered. But he goes, I'm just excited that it's not over 100 because it would be $400 to get that thing on the plane.
Well, wait a minute. If it's a work trip, what the fuck does he care if it's over 100 pounds?
Not that he cared, but it was just still the sheer, like, if it were not a business trip and you 101 pounds.
Well, I did the same thing when I got into the check to the thing, and I'm rolling up to this dude, and I'm like, "Oh, how much is this going to cost me?" He looks at me, looks back, and he goes, "Have a nice day." And I'm like, "How much did it weigh?" He goes, 49 pounds. I'm like, "Oh, thank you, God."
Ooh, you just squeaked by.
Yeah, so I got hosed for the $75 because I had all 6 bottles of alcohol that Greg and I bought in my bag.
Oh,
I told you I'd split that with you.
I know. I'm just messing with you. But we didn't want to take it out of the box because all 6
that's
of them
right.
were in that box.
Yeah.
And, they made it all the way, Actually, 3 of them broke, Greg, and they were yours. so we'll just forget about that whole half the $75 thing.
Okay.
Scotty, we got plenty of booze to drink.
that was
Oh, by the way, by the time I got home from dropping you off, Your wife had texted my wife and just laughing about your additional luggage.
What luggage did you purchase?
I went,
Or just the additional, or
Just
the
the
what it was?
additional.
Okay.
we went,
Okay.
we went to Target, and I
20-inch.
I bought the largest hard side suitcase they had.
Perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't
Well,
a
within-
strawberry shortcake.
See, that's what I was
suitcase.
hoping for.
Well, you know what? If that had been the cheapest one, that's the one I'd been rolling. I don't give a shit. So, observation here. I want everybody to, gander over. The gorilla, who is not manning the board today because we have so many people and so few cords and distance and everything. The gorilla is very comfortable over there off camera, just with his Coca-Cola and his cigar, and he is just mocking the shit out of us in his mind. Yeah, and he hollers because we don't.
Exactly what's happening, audience.
You could have voiced over that.
Oh, how very right you are, Greg. Audience, let me share with you what the camera gorilla has been thinking for the last 5 minutes.
How dare you? Bitching about flying! I had to pay for my sandwich. You're flying! You're sitting in a chair in the sky! You're like a Greek myth right now!
The great Oz has spoken.
So, no, but, hey. Hi, gorilla. Love you, man.
Oh.
Damn you, Daddy.
So,
Segue.
And hard left turn.
no. Since we're talking about the liquor endeavor, let's catch them up on Friday.
Oh yeah, so we get in there and go to breakfast because most of us are rather large gentlemen. And, if we don't eat every so often, we get a little cranky. Gregory.
He was cranky when he got to the damn airport.
He was cranky when he was born.
Yes.
You'd have thought we were taking him to the vet.
Yes.
He was like, he comes into the airport. We're going to a cigar festival. I don't care if it's freaking 3 a.m, but he's coming in. It's like, Jesus, man.
Mom took away his favorite stuffed animal before he left the house or something.
Yep.
But no, so we hit the ground, get our rental car, and we head out to meet up with Graham and Catherine from Hogback after we have some breakfast, and got to hang out with them and smoke some cigars and sample some more booze. Let's see, I brought 3 back, Greg brought 3 back, Sarah brought 4 back.
Yeah.
And Sarah and Chris, and Scotty, would you 2?
I just brought back 1.
Whoa.
Quitter. Fucking rookie.
Do you know how much alcohol I've got in my fucking house right now?
Hey, justify it however you want, man. Quitter. But no, we had a great time hanging out with those guys. Got to see what they do and how they do it, and just spend a little bit of time just sitting and talking and smoking and
Drinking.
and their operations growing every day. So if you're hearing this and you think you want to try it, reach out to Hogback Distillery or go to your local brick and mortar where you buy and say, hey, can you get this? And chances are it can be shipped in. But they have some excellent stuff.
And one of the ones that impressed me the most is that rye done in the rum cask.
that was
that's the
amazing.
bottle I got because that was incredible.
I should have got 2 of those.
That's my new favorite right there because it used to be the 4 grain, so I had that. But then when I tried that rye in the rum barrel, whew,
Graham definitely knows what he's doing.
yeah, he does.
Well, so I bought the tequila, the whiskey that was aged in tequila barrels. I bought that untried since that was the thing, one of the ones that they were bringing to Rocky Mountain. And of course, Catherine goes, if you don't like it.
Yeah, please.
And then I looked at her sideways like, really? I decided to get 2 bottles because I had already tried the Enigma here several months ago. I told Greg, just put me down for 2 bottles. And by the time we were done tasting everything, it was like, how do we swing 6 bottles, both cost-wise, and how do we ship it home?
That becomes the problem.
That didn't happen. Of course, we had no budget for the event and bought several boxes. So, it was a great weekend.
Yeah, it's so. Let's get into the kind of the meat of why you two guys are on here. This is both your first time going to Rocky Mountain. Sarah, you haven't ever been to the Big Smoke or anything like that. This is basically your first cigar event of this caliber, right? And Danny, I know you've been to a couple other things, but maybe not on this scale, this many people.
Yeah, not for open to the public.
So, I mean, just give me your first impression because you had an ultra VIP or VIP, so you were in, ahead of kind of the crowd.
Yeah.
Just give me kind of your impression when the floodgates opened and all these people started coming in.
So I think because I had executive VIP, so I got a backpack, ashtray, tons and tons of cigars. So basically, the cigars is what my ticket was worth, right?
Yeah,
easy in swag. And then you had all the event deals, the coupon books. The only thing that I think that should have been laid out a little bit clearer was where you actually register at, because they kind of had one here, over here. You know what I mean? It was spread out. So it's a little bit confusing. But as far as the event, it was phenomenal. There were so many booths, so much to do.
Yeah, and
plus the box deals.
Yeah, no, they do a really good job of getting that laid out, and between the Omni, where the hotel where it's hosted, and Smoker Friendly, they have a ton of people on the ground, ton of boots on the ground. It was funny. I having come from the restaurant and bar industry, I notice that kind of stuff maybe more than other people. And Scott and I were sitting in the VIP tent a couple times because we could do that, Greg.
I was there.
You know where I hid?
Hey, Greg, what swag did you get?
Hey, you know where I hid? I went to the ultra VIP tent. I was sitting in Graham and Catherine's booth drinking scotch.
Dude, like he and I need any help drinking anywhere, please.
True.
Wait a minute. When you say drinking, define drinking, I'm thinking it's like one of those little hamster droplets.
Yeah. A little drop in the back.
Let me tell you that Catherine was trying to get me drunk. She was trying to pour for me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, let the Scotchman's wife pour your drink. There's a hell of a plan. But I mean, every aspect of that event, Smoker Friendly and the Omni are right on top of it. Down to as goofy as it sounds, how many people they had clearing tables, picking up garbage.
Oh, wow.
I mean, because there's 3,000 people there. If you don't have some people that are committed to doing that in a 6-hour period, 7-hour period, that place is going to look like it in a hurry. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. This is the third time that we've been there, and it absolutely has been off the hook as far as that kind of stuff goes. All 3 years we've been there.
I'll tell you, as soon as I pulled off the cellophane off my cigar, set it on the table, within a minute, she came and picked it up.
It's gone. So yeah, you guys too. First time at the event. Overwhelmed, excited. I mean, what's the first thought comes into your mind on that?
So because I asked nicely, Graham and Catherine were able to get both Chris and I in early, help them set up. So I kind of got to see the lay of the land before the multiple onslaughts of folks.
Yeah, the mad rush.
While the executive VIP group was sold out, I don't know how many tickets there were.
50.
50? Okay. So that's still like they're all running around while everyone's trying to figure out what's going on, but staff is running around, vendors are still setting up, like getting things nice and pretty for everybody. So from 9 a.m. watching everybody set up. Of course, there are the interesting folks that I wasn't so sure why they were there, but you pay a fee and you get to be there, and good for you. But seeing the usual suspects, the fact that like Drew Estate had almost that entire indoor space, seeing all of God bless you.
Gesundheit.
Seeing all of the distilleries. There was a coffee company there, like just seeing everybody there. It was a little overwhelming in the beginning. And then I have Greg coming over like, hey, so-and-so is having a sale. So-and-so is selling boxes of blah, blah, blah. So what started off with bundles turned into
Boxes.
5 or 6 boxes.
That's how it, yep. That's how it starts.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's and it just all of a sudden you're like, how many? We made 5 trips to the car.
I don't think it was quite that many, but
I did 4.
I'm pretty sure it was 5. but-
5. Yeah.
And
Yeah, you might
And
be
we
right.
had, you can only carry so much in a backpack, and it's like, okay, it's time to go unload again. And after about the 3rd trip, Scott and I are walking back in. And it's like, I'm good, man. I don't need any more cigars.
It doesn't work that way, though.
And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
look at that. Oh, it's how much? I'll take 7. And so yeah, the pricing's cool. Being able for as many people as that are there, and as chaotic as it can be at times, the vendors, whether it's a cigar booth, whether it's a distillery, whether it's whatever, are just super cool, man.
Oh yeah. They were great.
It's just like I said this before. I think in our wrap up show when we came back last year, I've been to a lot of this type of stuff for other industries, whether it was hospitality or food and beverage, bar industry, stuff like that. Nothing that I've been to is been as laid back and as relaxing as Rocky Mountain with that many people.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, I don't think the vendors were ready for folks to just clean them out because by the end of the first half of the show, a lot of guys were cleaned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LFD was done by noon.
Real quick.
Really?
Christoph was
Christoph was pretty well wiped out.
Illusion.
Fuente.
Fuente,
You're done by noon anyway.
Fuente's a different story. I mean, when we were there in 19, all 3 of us, Greg, Scott, and I had VIP. You get in at 11. General public gets in at 12. By the time general public came in at 12, Fuente was wiped out. The VIP people cleaned out Fuente.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the pricing is just so much better than 80% of us across the country are having to pay, with no tax, sales tax no tax up there.
Yep.
It's just amazing. But some of the newer vendors, and I think this is where a couple of them fell into the trap, is how much stuff do you bring?
Right.
Because you don't want to pay freight on it both ways.
Right.
But then you got guys that were just, they were decimated by 12:30, 1 o'clock.
I walked by Cavalier several times just because of where Graham and Catherine were. And watching a lot of these tables, Cavalier specifically, they just kept dwindling down. And at one point I was like, this it?
Well,
And he goes, no, we got some in the back, but there were points. It was very early that a lot of these.
Well, and you look at guys like Cavalier's a great example because they brought a lot of stuff.
Right.
I mean, you looked under their table, you looked behind their banner, the back of their booth. They had stuff. They had boxes stacked up there that they hadn't even unpacked yet.
And he sold everything.
230, and they literally sold everything.
Yeah.
Every stick they brought, and that's great. I mean, that's what the event's for.
Right.
But how do you plan though? Logistically, how do you plan? How much do I bring?
So I have a little insight on that. I was talking to Jim of Island Jim, and he said he took last year's numbers of what he sold, and he doubled it.
Yeah.
And he says, if I have to ship stuff back to my retail location, so be it. I want to have enough product so everybody gets what they want.
Yep. No, and that's how you got. There's 4 or 5 schools of thought on how you do that.
Right.
Some people, depending on who what brand you were, there was a couple of the bigger houses that did not bring boxes. All they brought was samples.
Perdomo being one of them.
Perdomo, and
That was disappointing, and I'm not trying to cap on Perdomo, but they were doing a drawing for their estate reserve.
Yep.
And, they were making a fuss about it. Hey, it's their raffle, but I'm looking at this box going, I'll give you the money right now.
Yeah, I'd have bought my bill. My expenditures would have been considerably more if Perdomo would have bought boxes.
Yes.
And if Placencia would have been there.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
another disappointment that Placencia didn't show up.
But, and still all in all, I'm not trying to talk down about anybody
Not
that
at
was
all.
there. Everybody did a great job. It was a great experience. But yeah, just looking at the whole logistics of that, how do you set that up on what you're going to do? And the school of thought of, well, we're only going to bring this much, and so it's going to feel more exclusive. No, bring everything you got and just let people buy it. Island Jim, I think, has got the right philosophy. Rocky brought more stuff. If there was twice as many people at that event, Rocky wouldn't have sold out.
Oh wow.
Because they got a truck out in the parking lot that's still full in case something goes haywire.
Right.
And so that was cool. Now I know Sarah and Chris got out and around a little bit because you guys were trucking around with us. We went to 801 Chop again Friday night for dinner. We skipped the HERF and went into Denver to 801 Chop. If you live in that area, you're traveling to Denver, you're doing any of that thing, that's a 3 fat guys thumbs up. That restaurant is amazing.
There are other locations too.
Yeah, there's stuff. Kansas City,
St. Louis, Kansas City.
Yeah.
But Danny, did you get out off venue, out around anywhere, or did you just kind of hang out around the Omni?
No, I hung out around the Omni for the most part. I mean, I went out to dinner a couple times, but nothing
Now,
super
did
fancy.
you stay at the Omni too?
No, I stayed around the corner. I was like a mile away.
Okay, yeah, us too.
Omni was booked when I tried.
No,
Yeah,
for
same
sure.
here.
Same here.
I tried. It was booked.
But so now, did you go to the HERF on Friday night?
Not Friday. I was burnt because I drove. So
Oof.
yeah, I drove.
But-
and then
Talk about what you brought with you on the drive.
what do you mean?
The snacks.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I cooked before I left. I had chicken from the smoker, watermelon. I brought a full meal. Brought a whole bunch of stuff. So.
Just eating and
Yeah,
driving, huh?
eat, drive.
Nice.
Dude, I didn't know you drove. Holy
I
shit.
booked my tickets wrong, so it was my fault. So I ended up trying to get back in, and the prices were out of control. So I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm driving.
How long did it take you to drive from here to there?
It's a little over 16
Okay.
hours.
Oh God.
Wasn't too bad.
Yeah. He ain't smiling when he says that.
Wasn't too bad.
Wow.
So yeah. So when I got there Friday, I was burnt.
Did you take the Mustang?
No. I didn't want to rack that many miles on a GT500. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm good.
Well, and then how do you keep from having a foot to the floor in some
Oh,
of
yeah.
those areas too?
Oh yeah. Well, you can drive 80 miles an hour all the way there. That was the
Yeah.
best part about it. Is like the speed limit's all 75, 80. Half the roads are better than ours.
Right.
So I'm sitting here going, and we pay for what? All this California tax? It's like, wait a minute. Your speed limit's better. Your streets are better. Everything is just so. It was
Hey, but
actually a good
they
drive.
have no bullet train, my friend.
Oh, you got me there. You got me there.
Neither do we.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they keep promising us. So here's a little tidbit I heard yesterday on the radio when I'm driving to work. So the governor of our fine state of California is asking people to, because we're in a heat wave here. We're supposed to be at 107 tomorrow here, 111 by Monday. They're asking you not to set your thermostat below 78 and not to charge your electric car over the weekend in a lot of areas. But yet, they want us to not have any sale of new gas-powered vehicles by
2035.
Yeah.
35.
How in the is this going to work?
It's not.
But this week they did decide to keep the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant online for 5 more years. So instead of closing that down in 2025, they're going to leave that up and running allegedly till 2030. Now, number one, this is the only nuclear power plant left in California that provides 8% of our power. according to the radio article that I heard. But also, it hasn't been retrofitted or upgraded since 1978.
And
So
we're in an earthquake zone.
yeah, we're looking at the next Chernobyl here. Like, let's keep that going. That sounds like a bitchin' idea.
Well, where the core is itself, the thickness of that cement, from what I heard, you could crash a 747 into it and you're not going to break through.
Well,
it.
hey, thank
And
God.
the FBI is now watching all of us. Thanks a lot, Scott.
What the hell are you talking about? I didn't say, ooh, let me get a 747 and do just that.
You just did.
I said I didn't say.
What?
Can I have your lighter, please?
So I want to give out a small award to the event,
Oh, God.
and this is the Sad Booth Award.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Did any of you look at that poor fuck from Anderson Windows?
Dude, what?
I mean, I wasn't going to say it outright, but
Dude, when Scott and I got in early, we were walking around, and there was nobody there, right? And there's nothing at this booth, but all there is this little 8.5 by 11 piece of paper up on the Easy Up awning, whatever it is. It says "Renewal by Anderson," and we look at each other like, "Who the fuck is buying windows at this? What the?" And this poor guy, yeah, what was he, about 30?
Yeah.
And so the event started for the VIPs at 10, and then everybody else got in at 11. Dude, by 11:30, this guy is he is ready to be marched to the gas chamber. He is done. he is done. He doesn't give a shit, because anybody that he even tries to approach are like, fuck off, we're getting cigars, And I'm like, gee, this poor guy. How did he draw the short straw for this event? Hey, man, we got this really cool event. There's going to be 3,000 people, man. You're commission only. You're going to be... Fuck. That was a waste of the gas for him to drive over there.
but what was the one right next to him? Was some candidate.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. Some Republican candidate.
I voted for him.
So they stuck the two of them together at the very end of the row, and
Where no one's going to walk up there, uphill.
Yeah, it's
100
uphill.
yards is where all the
it's
porta potties
uphill.
are?
It's uphill at about 15-degree incline, and for those of you that are watching on YouTube, 60% of the people at this event make me look like a midget. So nobody is going up this hill. Okay, nobody.
Well,
Danny was probably the thinnest guy there.
Yeah. Well, Cigar Rights of America was right down from them too, in a terrible spot. It was just like, and then Graham and Catherine. I'm sitting in their booth right now, and I have to yell at her for her to hear me, because they are directly across from the
Don't.
most tone deaf cover band I've ever heard.
Never mind. Just go on.
Anyway,
Danny, how did you feel about the music?
The music was so. I believe it could have been better.
It could have been a little better.
Okay,
the group they
Could
had
have been
last year was
Could
great.
have been a little
definitely quieter.
quieter.
My childhood was murdered. Since we're on this, my childhood was murdered.
The song selection was not.
Every song from Scott's junior high dances was butchered heavily. But yeah, I mean, cool. You got live music. Should have been in the background.
Well,
So some of the only shade there, if you weren't, you didn't have the wristband to get in the VIP tent, was under these trees behind the pool, which is literally 15 feet from the stage, and it's just blaring music. So, okay, you got people sitting in lawn chairs under there, trying to get out of the heat, but you can't have a conversation with a person sitting next to you because somebody is, just butchering Pat Benatar 20 feet away. So,
I think one of the worst ones was, and Scott and we were all talking about this on one of the rides on Sunday, was absolutely butchered Earth, Wind, and Fire.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
That made me
Hey,
sad.
side note, smoker friendly. Still love you guys.
Didn't love that band, no.
Well, but also they didn't have their own sound person. They just, as the crowd grew larger, somebody just cranked up
Turn the
that
volume up.
main, and there were So all of the main speakers were right in front of the stage, but then there were 3 or 4 speakers just around the corner.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if there were any.
There was another set by the water station.
Yeah.
No, that's the one that I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then were there some over by like?
Yes, there was some
where
over by
Caldwell
Rocky's
and-
booth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Rocky's guy went over and unplugged it.
Yes, he did. I can tell. I know exactly which one did that, and so do you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was, it was just super freaking loud over there, and it's like, this is a little too much. But once again, all in all, it's a super event. If you've thought about it, if you've heard about it, you haven't been there yet. Hey, maybe not every year, but it's if you're a cigar person or because this is turning into a craft distillery event too, and Scott and I kind of had to monitor our drinking this year. We got a little out of hand last year.
Just a little.
Oh, another one who was not there.
Rocker
Was not there.
Rocker Bourbon was not there
yeah.
this year. Neither was Delirium Brewery.
But Prost was there.
But Prost was there,
And they want to be on our show.
They want to be on our show.
And what's even better, they'll ship us some beer.
I was going to say, so I only caught a sip of your Kolsch, and that was one of the better Kolsches that I've had.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's
fantastic.
So hanging out, we got to know these guys at Prost pretty well over the last 3 trips up there.
Yeah, because they hand you full cans.
Well, yeah, they give a fat guy a beer. I mean, what do you want? But they are in the process of building what is going to be one of the largest microbrew operations in the state of Colorado. Just the beer garden itself is going to be over 14,000 square feet.
Oh wow.
So we were getting to see some, some pictures on the phone of it. I mean, they're moving dirt and tearing down walls and doing stuff like that right now. It's going to be open by June of next year. So, if you're a craft beer guy and you happen to be in the Denver area, it's just it's right there in Broomfield, just down from the Omni where this event is. And yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a cool venue.
Nice.
So
question for Danny, because this was both of our first times
Right.
at Rocky Mountain. Would you go again? Are you more interested in going to other ones before you come back and revisit this?
No, I'd absolutely go again. Absolutely. It's a must go for anyone that hasn't been. Because I mean, you guys had all told me you got to go. You got to check it out, right?
yeah.
I was not disappointed anyway.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I think could be better was their hamburger, but I'm sure we can all agree on that.
I was going to say, okay, so these fools went up to somebody's room and ordered pizza.
Yep.
I don't disagree with you. Also, free food is free food.
That's true.
No. We got poisoned last year during the COVID debacle. And hey, I'll apologize up front to the Omni.
No, not at the Omni.
No, hold on. This was last year. But I'm going to call a horse a horse. That was the worst food I have ever had anywhere in my life. 54 years walking this planet was at that bar at the Omni last year.
Oh, at the bar. Yeah.
There was 8-10 of us at the table, and with the exception of Greg's steak that was served to him cold, everything else was almost inedible. Tommy was sitting to my right and ordered the fish off the menu, and when they set the plate down, I'm like, don't touch that. It smelled like it washed up on the beach 3 days ago.
Oh shit.
The worst food I've ever had.
Let's not forget the frozen flash chicken wings.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That was salmonella waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, and it was, and I know we were coming out of COVID, and I know, it was staffing, and I don't give a shit.
No excuse.
You cannot serve shit that bad. You can't. And the problem is what really frustrated me about the whole thing is, we got the manager out there and we're like, hey, we're not paying for this. And she knew it was shit. You could just tell by how she was reacting to us. She knew it was shit. She'd been hearing it all weekend, I'm sure. hey, close the kitchen down.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Right.
sorry, man. We got a problem. Tell us something, but don't be throwing this shit out here and then going to bring us a check like, no.
Yeah.
So there was not the to use one of Scott's phrases, the short trip to Grandma's house on this is there was no way in hell I was eating that hamburger this year. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit how they brought that thing out there. It could have been on a gold plate,
That you got to keep.
Yeah, no. Negative, Ghost Rider. You're only poisoning the fat kid once. Sorry. But we did, once again, the whole trip experience. We had great food at 801 Shop. We go to PJ's Cafe in the mornings for breakfast. Now, we did do, we broke from tradition, and we did our Sunday morning breakfast at Hops and Drops right by the hotel we stayed at. We ate there last year, although I don't really remember it because I was hammered.
You would be both.
But, and hey, man, quick props out Sunday morning to Bree. They're at that Hops and Drops. They weren't super busy for a breakfast place on a Sunday morning, but she was the entire floor.
Yes.
She was doing the bar and serving.
Wow.
And there was 6 of us in our group. And if you've listened to this podcast at all, you're aware that, 1 or 2 of the regular members of this podcast might be a little bit bougie.
What?
And it might be a little bit bougie when it comes to ordering their food. Don't be looking around like you don't know who the hell it is. I would like my eggs over hard. I would like double bacon.
And I want the hash browns crispy.
Hey. A side of hash browns, crispy. And the toast dry.
I did not.
Syrup on the side. You can keep the slaw.
Hey. And for a landlocked state, that is some of the best clam chowder at Hops and Drops.
Oh, yeah.
So, and she's not the only one. Then you got George, and I love you too, George. I know you're listening to this, but George never realizes when it's his turn to order. Have you noticed that? So this poor woman, she don't know us from Adam, and she's trying to get all the Scott's giving her, the dissertation on how he wants his food, and hey, man, I get it, man. You like what you like. There's certain aspects of my life the same way.
Well, it sure as hell ain't Black Boy Day today, is it?
I get it, man. You like what you like, but that don't mean I'm not going to clown you in the process. That's just, it's 'cause it comes from love, man. So, but every place we went up there this year, just an awesome place. Now we did have to drive to Longmont to a cigar lounge.
Well, we should clarify that. So there was two Havana Manor locations. There was the Longmont store, and there was the one in Louisville, right up the road from the Omni.
Broomfield, yeah.
The wildfire that they had in Colorado last year, talking to Max, who was the manager at the Louisville store, the fire burned the store down.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. The fire went through and burned that entire complex out.
Wow.
The roof collapsed. What really killed that cigar lounge was when the sprinklers went on and doused everything. And the only thing to really survive well was the safe, which it should. He actually told this story. We thought it was hilarious. He's like,
Did you hear what he said in the first part of that? He didn't leave the store
until
the bushes in the front were on fire. I'm like, dude, get the hell out.
Oh, my God.
Run! You got insurance, man. Jump in the Subaru and head out. Sorry, Max. I don't know if you drive a Subaru, but it's Colorado. I figured 70-30.
Well, then he's telling us this story about he busts out the window the day after to get in and look at the damage. And as he's climbing out, safe in hand, here comes a Colorado State Police who happened to be one of the regular patrons. And said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. How's the shop?" "Yeah, it's a loss."
Dude, you just messed up that entire story.
I'm so sorry.
Spoiler alert and everything, man.
That's because he's never been involved in any criminal activity. He doesn't know how to set the tone.
Shall I tell? tell my story from Havana Manor in Longmont?
No.
I mean, it's not my story.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, how you doing back there, homie?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, yeah. I need more alcohol. Excuse me.
You know what? While you're doing that, I will light my second cigar and
Jesus, pumping right on. Yeah, so we made a couple of trips to Havana Manor, and so that was that on Friday you did that?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
no,
Friday.
no,
it was Friday.
Because Sunday we were
Because
leaving. We sat in the back.
What was the nice lady who was working on Friday? We saw her Saturday at.
Don't remember what her name is.
Yeah, whatever.
Lovely human being.
Yeah, nice lady.
Checked in on Chris.
So
at the event.
we're all sitting up front, in these chairs that face each other in this little narrow,
Hallway.
yeah, kind of a hallway thing that's in the front of the store, and you can look out the window and whatever. And Chris gets up. This is Sarah's husband. I assume go to the bathroom. I don't know where he went. It could be in the humidor or whatever. And he's gone for like a really long time, right?
You just go railroad her story, huh?
Apparently.
No, but
Okay, so this is the funny. So
I didn't know what happened, but I
Right.
saw wet footprints. So now I'll shut up now and you tell the rest of the story.
No,
Oh,
because you tell the story when you walk up to Chris and you ask him a question.
Okay, I don't remember what I asked him.
Did you fall in?
Well, yeah, that's right. That's what I did because I saw the wet footprints.
So, and he had just gotten done telling the whole group what had happened because the poor thing had come to the edge of, because it's a hallway, there's 4 seats on each side. And so he comes to sit closer to me to tell me what happened. And he has this grin like, something just happened. And he's looking over to make sure that nobody's really going to pay attention. And Greg from across the hall goes, you got to tell everybody. So my poor husband turns around and he goes, all right. Went to use the restroom, was washing his hands, and leaned on the sink. And he is probably closer to Danny's size than any of these fine gentlemen's size. Knocks the sink down.
It's a wall mount sink, and the whole thing apparently came off the wall.
Just comes down.
So, and I don't know this, right? Because I get up and I'm going to the bathroom and I don't see him. I see the lady that works at the shop with a mop and I see a bunch of wet footprints. So I go past all this, use the other bathroom, come back. Now, he's already told the story to everybody else. So I walk up, I'm like, dude, what happened? You fall in? And he just starts laughing. Everybody's laughing. And I still didn't realize that he'd broken the sink. I thought he broke the toilet. I thought he fell off the toilet. I really did. And it wasn't for like 10 minutes. I thought that, and then he explained, he's like, no, man, I broke the sink. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, thank God. But
Oh, man. And then this poor woman. So we apologetic. He's helping her try to get things situated.
yeah, they bought more cigars there because they felt bad.
We may have single-handedly kept them in business or at least fixed.
It definitely paid for a new sink. I saw the bag of cigars they carried out of there. That sink is the least of that place's worries now.
And then we run into her Saturday morning and she's like, I didn't check. Like, are you still okay? Like, is everything all right? And he's like, I'm fine.
Yeah. He's traumatized as shit. Probably not going to be able to take him anywhere anymore. But other than that.
From now on, you get a water bottle in the car. That's all you get.
So that was Friday's adventures.
Oh, man.
Then there was Sunday. I'll take things you can't milk for $500.
Oh, God.
All right.
and the answer is
Wait a minute, man. I thought we agreed we weren't doing this.
y'all agreed. I didn't agree to shit.
All right. Wait, hang on. So, Greg, tell your story about the poor customer who lost his.
Sorry. No.
He can't.
No.
You're not telling this?
In a roundabout way, okay? We were talking about
chocolate milk.
chocolate almond milk, and I made the offhanded comment of, I'm sorry, it's not milk, it's nut juice.
To which I quite factually added, well, you can't
Factually?
milk. Yes. You can't milk a nut.
Now, mind you, hold on. Now, mind you, there's 6 people at this breakfast table.
The whole table couldn't breathe.
She is the only female, and with the exception of George, because I don't think he heard her. He was concentrated on his poached egg. Let's be serious.
And his decaf coffee.
Yeah, the other 4 gentlemen were all speechless, looking at her, and I'm thinking to myself, did she just say you can't milk a nut? I'm like, her poor husband.
And it just went downhill.
Yeah,
from
no,
there.
it spiraled out of control.
Scott and I couldn't breathe.
To the degree that I was pretty sure the bartender waitress was not going to come refill our coffees again. I'm pretty sure that's where she said, nope, fuck
Nope,
it.
that's it.
Whatever tip I get is whatever I get.
And then there's this poor older couple who are just trying to have a quiet brunch because this restaurant is otherwise empty except for the 6 of us who walked in, and then this couple.
Yeah, and Fannie Mae and her husband, who were, somewhere between 106 and 130, and we're in there. We're just loud as shit because we don't care, and. Nut juice. I look over at these poor people, or the woman's looking at her husband like, finish your oatmeal and let's go.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh God. But yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of the group, whether it's just the 3 of us podcast guys or whoever else is along. There is some shit that is just going to go haywire because that's us, man. I mean, we just do stuff. Another quick story. So we get to the airport in Denver to fly home, and Greg and George go one direction. Scott and I go another direction. I have to fork out my credit card for $75 for the overweight charge. We get up to the deck up there, and they're directing us to either the south side security or north side. And Scott and I end up at north side, and he's got TSA pre-board because he's bougie, and I don't because I'm white trash. And so
I know where I fall now.
Damn it, Jim.
So I smoke through security. I'm faster than the TSA pre guys. I am done. There's nobody in line, right? Even though the guy in front of me gets the ridiculous pat down. I mean, ridiculous. It had 2 different people pat this dude down. And the only reason he got the pat down is because he was wearing Ariat jeans. And if you're not familiar with those, Samuel, you prick, if you're listening, I know you know what Ariats are, you freak. They got all the rivets, bedazzle, bells, whatever that shit is on those jeans, and it set the thing off.
Right.
And they thought this guy had something, and his boots are off. I mean, it was embarrassing to witness the pat down to this guy, and I was still through security faster than Scott.
Yeah, you were. That's good. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
So we were not far behind just because of our afternoon. We kind of blew through those plans. Had a lovely time. Check out Rocky or
Red Rock.
Red Rock. And then we were just kind of like, okay, let's head to the airport. I had Chatty. We had Chatty McChatterton up in front of us, who was making conversation with every single person that she was checking their ID.
Bitch, verify it's me and move on.
That was very
settle, little angry beaver.
So we finally get through, but we were right next to pre-check in the clear. I don't know what clear is. Clear is like you pay to not quite have pre-check. I don't know.
It's it's
not everywhere.
You paid $75 so you can bring a gun on the plane. What the fuck does that mean? No, I mean seriously. Once again, hey, pay more money. Fuck you. You still follow the same rules.
So
I don't get it.
we were caught in that line, and then somebody finally says, hey, if you don't have any metal in you, go all the way down.
You were at the south one.
Yeah. And I looked at Chris and I said, we're hauling ass. And we get all the way to the other end. And then I go, technically I have piercings that I can't take out, but I don't think that's, and it's just always a terrifying, which was fine. Made it through. Some poor 15-year-old kid who doesn't have his life together because he's 15, and his mom who doesn't have her life together because apparently
She had him at 15.
and it might have been their first time flying. This poor kid left his iPad in his backpack, and they are now holding up the line to get everything through the scanner. And I'm like, can y'all just keep, like, go.
I have flown a lot over the past 6 years. That Denver was the first time coming home that I did not have to go through body scanner. They let me walk through metal detector and go. And I'm like,
It felt wrong.
it was interesting. But it was funny. The guy that is doing the I walk through the metal detector, right? And I'm standing now to get my shit going through the scanner. And he goes, you have a good time at Rocky Mountain? Why, yes, I did. How'd you figure that out? I can tell. I'm like, oh, is it that noticeable? He goes, oh, yeah. Those poor fucks when you go on the airplane. From us sitting in Havana Manor for 3 hours, I smelled like a cigar.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, I don't care.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I guess maybe it was just a couple of hours that we had.
Yeah, you got
outside.
to descent.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. Because that way, you know, on the flight back, I was on the window. Scott was on the aisle in the same row. And it worked out beautiful with it being at Havana Manor because our cigar smell choked out the, and I don't even know what, I don't even know what perfume this is because I can't go that far back from the little old woman sitting in between us who was her first flight. I'm like, oh God, this is going to be horrible.
Well, she was a sweet
She
little
was,
old lady.
she was a sweet, nice lady, but I can't even think of, you know, it wasn't Aqua Velva because that's not a woman's perfume.
Yeah,
but
something with lavender in it.
yeah,
Death by
yeah.
Chanel number 5.
That, yeah,
Like a,
Yeah.
yeah. Chanel number 2.5. I mean, this woman was old. But hey, man, answer me a question. So we got stuck on one after being on the plane, after the plane pushing back from the gate. We get stuck on the plane for what?
Ground delay. 40-minute ground delay.
oh, you too.
We got a ground stop.
I had to sit on the runway for 40 minutes. Oh my God, really? What happened then? Did you fly through the air like a bird? Incredibly? Did you soar into the clouds impossibly? Did you partake in the miracle of human flight? And then land softly on giant tires that you couldn't even conceive how they fucking put air in them?
And why don't they just tell you the truth? They tell us, oh, it's because of wind. I'm looking out the window of the plane. There ain't shit moving. Nothing.
There was, so when we did the pushback and the plane came to a stop, you felt the plane rock back and forth. It was actually...
No, that's because Scott was shifting in his seat.
Oh, that could be true. But it actually was too windy at that point because that thunder cell that was moving over, I was doing what I'm not supposed to do because I'm annoyed at this point and I'm watching the radar. And
No, you're annoying.
yeah, that too. But the ground stop, at least for us, was legit because the clouds were spinning. That thunder cell was rotating, which means we could have been pushing back to the gate for a tornado, or my comment would be get this bitch in the air and get us out of here.
We
I'd
were
say we can outfly a tornado, goddammit. Come on.
we were caught in a thunderstorm. We made up 30 minutes though.
Guy had that
Flying
thing
against the
pegged.
jet screen.
Oh,
The
yeah.
jet ski-
Oh, yeah.
That guy
Beautiful.
pegged that son
You
of
know
a
he
bitch.
did. He did.
Well,
that
we're
was-
getting home before this plane gets wet. Hey. And I'm okay with that, you know. And God bless you, sir.
Well, and it's one of those. So if you are able to make up time,
Yeah, you do.
But
why aren't we always?
you know, yeah. But that's
Why is
that's
it a
another
2.5 hour
no,
flight
that's
when
one
it
of
could
those
be
things
2?
about flying, though, man. Flying sucks.
Yeah.
Flying is a half a step above
Riding a
shipping
horse?
no shipping cattle. I mean, and it just you look at the people and you're watching them come down the aisle of the plane, and you're thinking, God damn, as a society, this is the best we can do.
You realize, Larry, the next trip we go on, we're going to have to look at bougie fuck in his smug-ass nature sitting in first class as you and I walk to the back.
With on my second drink by the time you guys get there, and I'll give my pageant wave.
At this point, I think Danny had the right idea. Like, I understand that was not plan A, but I'm thinking...
Oh, you can just unthink that. No.
Nah, unless we're taking the motor ghetto and we're all smoking in Scott's, $850,000 motorhome or whatever that son of a bitch costs. No, we're not driving no place.
Well, I will say this.
I don't want to spend that much time with you people.
That was the smoothest landing of any Southwest jet I have ever been on when we touched down in Sac.
Really?
He
Yeah,
did.
because we touched down in Denver. That was a whole different story.
Oh, yeah.
But he at least oversold how bad the landing. I was prepared for
Well, yeah.
so much worse, and we land. I'm like, well, that wasn't that bad,
I've had worse landings in Burbank.
right?
But yeah, that landing, man, coming into Denver. You ever been to a bowling alley and watched like an 8-year-old throw the ball down the lane? Crash. I'm like, that was our landing.
Minus
There
the
was no
crash.
mistaking that it was landing.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the funny thing. In George and I were up front, in front of the wing, and I took the middle. George had the window. I took the middle, and this lady sits down next to me in the aisle, and we're landing, and Camera Gorilla will have to cut to me. We're landing, and she's like this. And I'm like, what the hell is this lady doing? She's got her rosary out. She's praying as this plane is descending to the gate. I'm just like, oh.
Well, apparently it worked.
Bless her heart.
Like, ooh.
Too soon? So I think collectively we can all say that we had a good experience at 2022.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
Oh!
That was loud.
Continue on.
everybody also left Friday night with their eyebrows.
Oh,
yes.
How did we forget?
Brown Palace.
Yes.
You've heard this story on Two Queens and a Pullout.
Yeah, we went we did a return trip to the Brown Palace in downtown Denver. Well, some of us did.
Minus Greg and George.
Yeah, some of us that weren't, too whiny about staying up late. But bitch, you are. I got shoes older than you. Quit crying about. I need to go sleep. No, you don't. Shut up.
I told you.
Feel like shit the next morning, like the rest of us. You pussy. Come on.
Take up cocaine.
Oh, yeah. You know what's great about these wonderful human beings that are surrounding me? Sarah, you look like death. You okay? Just shove some coffee in me. I will be fine. But
when you roll in and like, oh my God, I didn't think we were going to be able to make it. I feel like shit. Oh, okay. What happened?
No, I looked fine. I was quiet and waiting for my coffee. Of which none of you have ready for me when I would show up to breakfast.
Well, get there on fucking time.
Anyway, so
No. We're not just glazing over this. And Chris puts his head down in the back. Yeah, sit up, fucker. This is on you too. You're the one supposed to be handling her. At what time ever the entire goddamn weekend were you on time for anything?
Saturday morning. Yeah, fuck you.
The only reason you were possibly close to on time is you didn't want to disappoint Graham and Catherine. Don't give me that horse shit.
Can you blame her? There's scotch involved.
Well, yeah, there's that. And you promised you'd help them. So, yeah, I mean, you wandered around at apparently the appropriate time. But can't make it to dinner. Can't make it to the only reason you were at dinner on time at 801 Chops is because you rode with us.
Oh, wait, let's back up on that for a minute.
Uh-oh.
The look on her face when they set that double cut prime rib in front of her.
Jesus Christ.
2 pounds of beef land on her plate, which she ate an ounce.
Yeah, I don't know what was the better look. The look on her face when they set that prime rib in front of her, or the look on her face when we told her she had to get in the third row seat in that fucking expedition.
In a dress.
In a skirt, yeah, in a dress. She's like, you guys suck. I'm like, yeah, we know that, but thank you for pointing it out again.
Now, Scott,
Okay.
being the bougiest of the group and the culinary expertise,
I'm not bougie.
would you please describe that amazing amuse-bouche that they served us as the first course?
Now, are you asking me to explain that because you say I'm bougie or because it was watermelon? Let's
Both.
be honest.
Both.
And there goes our studio audience,
But
folks.
but more importantly, because you have a better culinary background than the rest of us.
That was delightful.
It was.
I mean, I can't even say anything about it because Susie said it down. I'm like, oh, a moose-bouche.
Yeah, I thought it was starting out bad, to be honest with you.
Really?
No, because the guy hyped it up so much. I'm like, oh man, we got this waiter. This guy's gonna be, really.
But remember where you were. This
No,
was
no,
not
and
a
that-
Denny's
and
off
I
of
got-
Route 5.
I got it, man, and that's what saved it, because I was kind of right there going, is this guy gonna do this with everything? And then he comes out and there's these little melon balls on these spoons, and I'm thinking, okay. And then you try this thing, and it is friggin' incredible.
Yep.
Incredible melon, like
It was a pureed watermelon
and then they
that had been frozen to a ball.
flash freeze it, and then they put it on with
Basil oil.
Yeah, basil oil, and it was freaking incredible.
And micro mustard greens, I think, or something. It was,
I could have eaten. Well, and that was after I had seen the watermelon salad as one of
one of
the specials
yeah.
of the night, and I wish I had done that. But the French onion soup was
to die for.
phenomenal.
And what did you do with your other, 54 pounds of cow? Did you just leave that?
Probably got left in the room.
You just leave that in the refrigerator for the cleaning lady?
That was a tip.
I mean, we did eat some of it, but it's really hard when you have plastic ware.
Silverware.
Yeah.
Well, who are you trying to impress?
Well,
Why
yeah,
don't you
it's
just
big
tear
enough.
it apart?
Yeah, it was big enough. One of you could start gnawing on one end, one of you on the other.
Have a total Lady in the Tramp moment when they get to the middle.
I did not call you a tramp. That was Greg. I did not do that. That was not where I was going, sir.
Oh, but those sides,
Yeah.
yes, they were delightful
Yeah.
the day at the meal, but even that
There's
next
a bunch
night,
of people. There's a bunch of people going to be listening to this right now, going, "When are the fat people going to stop talking about the goddamn food?" I thought this was a cigar podcast. No, you're sorely mistaken.
this is the beyond part of
Yeah.
Beyond the Humidor.
And the alcohol.
Yeah. So yeah, and real quick segue back to the alcohol, dude. There was twice as many distilleries this year.
Yes.
And some decent stuff, a couple that were not in my wheelhouse. I'm sure it's a good product, just not something that that I particularly was fond of. But a ton of distilleries, and I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. I don't know why it surprised me or surprises me that the craft distillery thing has blown up so huge. I mean, that should have been just, you would expect to be the next course after craft brewing blew up so huge, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some really cool craft distilleries and some really cool marketing ideas for that too.
Right.
So that I think that's what I like as much as the booze, is seeing how people market it. Like Rocker from last year, their bottles are rounded, so they actually rock. That was kind of cool. And
that little white
they
truck they brought in?
Yeah, they had a 1950 white semi truck that they served out of that had it's a split window old truck, and they had no glass in it, but they had a clear acrylic that folded down and made their bar. So that was sick.
Oh, wow.
That was sick
Yeah.
as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just for a one-day event, and some of the stuff that people drug out for a display for a half a day event, basically, let's call it what it is, was just amazing. It's like, damn, these people are serious about
That
this.
ashtray you guys got from Black Label Trading Company.
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's part of the VIP package.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
We got to go there, don't we?
Yes, we
So-
do.
Did
Welcome to the back of the bus, bitch.
did
How's
anyone
it feel, Greg?
I don't like it, Scott.
Neither does he.
Keep drinking, you'll be all right.
He almost had me. Almost.
There goes scotch all over the place. So I want some opinions on oddest thing you saw at the event. If it's something that you just thought you thought to yourself, why is that? Why did that happen? Or why is that? Anything that like strike your no?
Not really. I didn't see a whole lot of odd stuff. I mean,
So I
Up
got
that hill.
I got one.
Oh,
So,
please.
so Scott and I are sitting in the VIP tent.
Oh, no.
Towards, I don't know, it was probably, 2:00?
Yeah.
And we're just having, just cooling off, actually drinking water.
How was that, by the way?
Oh, it was fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
And so they had tables and chairs like they do every year. But this year they had a lot more of these lounge chairs, like pool chairs.
yeah.
Because they figured out there was a lot more people wanting to sit down. So Scott and I end up in a couple of the lounge chairs, and we're facing each other, and we're at the back end of the tent. So we're right at the edge of the tent, but we're still in the shade. And behind where Scott was sitting, there's a couple of guys at this table. And one of the guys, probably late 30s, he's got an Asylum 13 that he's smoking, which is an 80 ring gauge cigar.
Was it the same guy we saw at
No. So
For those of you that don't know, an 80 ring gauge is about an inch and a half in diameter.
Yeah, it looks like a flashlight. And he's holding it straight up and down and like tilting his head back to smoke it because he has the entire ash from this cigar. It is probably 4.5 inches off this cigar. So I'm watching the guy, he's holding it up and he's smoking. Scott and I are talking, he's smoking. And all of a sudden, I didn't see him stand up. I didn't see what happened to his cigar. All of a sudden, he's on his feet. He is pushing the empty chairs out of the way, and he's heading out of the tent down the grass hill behind the tent.
Onto the golf course.
Projectile vomiting. And I mean, fire hose. It's shooting out 3.5, 4 feet in front of it.
It's the Exorcist all over
Yeah.
again.
Damn.
So I don't know if it was a combination of heat, alcohol, leaning back to try to keep this ash from falling off. I'm
Or
sure
hot boxing.
I'm sure he inhaled. And with everything else, it just flipped the switch. And I mean, this guy literally projectile vomited probably 5 times. And just shaking, man, like a dog when he's doing it.
Poor
And I'm
bastard.
I'm thinking, Jesus, this is terrible. And then to his credit, he comes up, takes a drink, spits it out, sits down, fires that cigar back up. I'm like, God bless you, sir.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to point out one other thing, and I know Scott saw it because Scott was standing there with me when this happened. We were at Cavalier's booth, and about 2 or 3 booths going up the hill, I look over, and there's a couple. And I know Scott saw these people because this guy was probably a head taller than Scott. And you're 6'5", yes,
Yeah.
sir? So this guy was at least 6'8" or 6'9".
Danny's height?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oof.
And 2 people bigger than Danny. And his significant other was in a bathing suit cover-up mesh. Not a jersey. It looked like a jersey. It had the material up top like for covering the shoulder pads, but a mesh jersey that came down just above her knees and her underwear. That was it.
Yep.
Yep. I saw that.
And I was like,
I'll
So-
take things you can't unsee for 500, Alex.
So I get one of the Beyond the Humidor stickers out of my backpack, and I'm figuring, what the hell? I'm going to walk up to this couple and go, hey, how you guys doing? We have a podcast. So I start to move away from the Cavalier booth, as these people are moving away from the booth they were at to 2 or 3 up. And the look on this gentleman's face, I'm like, yeah, I'm not talking to them. We're good. I'll pass on this. So, that's one of the benefits of moderating your alcohol consumption right there. Because last year I'd have been like, hey, how you doing? Nice swimsuit. Because I did that shit last year.
I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah, or the hospital, either one. Because this was a big human being. He made a fist. It looked like a concrete block. I'm like, nah, we're good.
I was impressed by the number of heels and stilettos I saw walking around.
Yeah.
On incredibly uneven ground.
I went for my kicks because I was gonna wear espadrilles, and I was like, no, this sounds like a bad idea. And then I saw that hill, and I'm like, this was a smart idea.
Well, it's funny you said that about the shoes, because I made the comment to Scott as we were walking out to the SUV after we're done with the event of how many guys incredibly larger than either Scott or I were in like slide flip-flops.
Oh, hell
I'm like, there's no way you could march around that place at 300 plus pounds. Your feet have got to be killing you.
Oh,
man.
yeah, for sure.
I had a fairly nice pair of, arch support tennis shoes on, and my feet were not feeling good by the end of this deal.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine my fat ass walking around in shower shoes, for Christ's sake. You'd have been carrying me out to the car.
No, you'd have been crawling to the car.
Yeah, we have. These are my friends right here, guys. Yeah,
Larry, crawl to the portico in the front of the hotel. We'll pick you up there.
Just say the front of the hotel.
yeah. Portico.
And you call me bougie.
Well, he's bougie in training. He wants to be you.
Only in certain areas.
Oh,
We'll swing that one. Why not?
Well, there's an edit for you, Anthony.
Good luck.
Camera girl is like, nope.
hey, Danny, how's it going over there?
Excellent.
So,
Yeah, you were real happy you signed on to this fucking ride.
So, as we approach our 90-minute mark, I know you lit a new cigar. So, how was the Tatuaje and what's the new one?
Tatuaje is always a great cigar. Right now, I am smoking the Aladino Corojo Reserva. And I had tried it in a Churchill. And there are some cigars that are blended for a particular size, and that is what they are meant for. The Churchill was a little, I don't want to say boring, but not complex at all. So this is in the Toro, and it's a much better. I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, no offense to Justo. I agree with you. The Toro or the smaller version, I think are the proper sizes for that blend. Danny?
Tatuaje Miami 10. It's always phenomenal. I remember when they came out, I bought 6 boxes. So one of my favorites.
How fast you go through those 6 boxes, man?
I saved them. I just broke the last box open.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
So,
Right on.
He's got better self-control than we do.
Yes, he does. Larry, how about your Camacho?
Much like normal, I've been doing more talking than smoking, but so I got still quite a bit of this left. I love Camacho cigars. I'm happy every time I pick one of them up. They're regularly in my rotation, which is funny because I don't have a lot of Camacho stuff at home in my humidor because there's so much Camacho here.
right.
I don't take up storage space with it. So I, tend to have more of the stuff, like we got at Rocky Mountain or we got at PCA because you can't get it everywhere. So,
Right.
So, but yeah, at least once a week I smoke some Camacho product, something, and I love their stuff. And this one, this is just super smooth. Scotty?
Mr. Robinson?
Well, coming down to the end of this Perdomo 20th anniversary, like I said, I love the 10th, the champagne. This one is outstanding. It's all Nicaraguan, coming from the 3 regions. I mean, the blend. And if you smoke Nicaraguans, you know that the Nicaraguan leaf is a one-trick pony. It's not complex, but in combining the 3 leaves together brings about a real nice smoking experience.
Yeah, I do. I am a fan of the Perdomo line. Champagne, 10-year champagne is one of my favorites.
Yes.
The Connecticut.
Yep.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's
a great cig.
a Connecticut that is, it has some complexity. There's a couple flavor note changes in it, which you don't typically get out of a Connecticut stick. On my last czar here, Robert Cadwell's line, whether you're smoking a blind man's puff, blind man something or other, sorry, Robert, a last czar or one of the other lines, they're great sticks. And, they're not in a lot of retail stores, at least on the West Coast. And it's one of those where you have to find them where you can. And when you do, I really recommend you buy them and you try them because they're a great stick.
Mm-hmm.
Before we wrap out of here, I wanted to give Sarah and Danny the final thoughts, if I may, on the event. Sarah? Danny first? Okay.
I'll go. It's fine. Final thoughts on the event. I'd definitely go again. No question. I got more than enough cigars to cover the ticket price.
Yeah.
So for starters, that's out the park. The swag that I got, the people, the contacts that I met. I mean, I ran into a group of 35 guys that are all part of Colorado. They have their own little smoking event. Got to hang out with them for a while. Got to talk to them all, meet a lot of contacts. It was a phenomenal time.
That's awesome.
So I'm definitely going next year.
Something we didn't touch on with you. Did you purchase a lot of stuff as well, or were you kind of focused on getting what you got for your ticket and then just talking to people than buying?
A little bit of both. I didn't buy a whole lot. A little bit, and then a lot of it was a lot of networking.
Okay,
pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's great.
Nice.
We've been talking about this event for 3 years, and I have not been able to go all 3 years. And so this was the year that hell or high water, I was going. Didn't matter if I got a VIP or a GA, like I was going to be there. And I'm really glad that I got to go. I would be open to going again, but I also know that there are so many other events that we can check out, go to, see kind of what's out there. But definitely one that I would return to or recommend anybody going. I think the price is nearly unbeatable, especially with who you're going to meet, who you can connect with.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the coolest things about that struck me the first year we were up there is the people, the vendors that are there. Mm-hmm. It's not just here's the line of cigars and there's Paul, Dick, and Eddie running the booth. I mean, you got Oscar there,
right?
Yeah.
You've got Rocky, you've got Nish Patel, you've got members of the Fuente family at the Fuente booth.
Right.
Island Jim is there.
Yeah.
You know, he's hammered, but he's there.
Exactly.
But
Brian and Sebastian.
yeah,
You clearly
Brian-
didn't see Nish.
Yeah, well, yeah, Nish is always
Well, that's a
hammered.
given.
But last year, Christoph, the owner of Christoph, was there for the thing. And I think that's important, man. I mean, we're almost like kids collecting baseball cards on this stuff to a certain extent,
Yes.
and you want to see the people that are behind the product. Anybody can sell a cigar, but I want to talk to the guy that's making it, the guy that's marketing it, the guy that turned this from a hobby into a business.
Right.
And I think this event does that very well.
And it's definitely more special than going to an event. I've been to so many events over the last decade, and you get to chat with the rep or if the owner happens to make it into the event. But it's such a concentrated space and so many people. Yes, there were how many? 3,000 of us all trying to buy time with whomever, but it didn't feel like that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It doesn't feel like that.
Right.
I chatted more with Sebastian
in the first 2 or 3 hours than I would have ever gotten FaceTime with. And that went for everybody. I mean, we happened to be right next to Christoph. So I was chopping it up with John while everybody was rolling through. Like, it feels different.
Right.
Yeah, the comfort factor there is just way different than a lot of other things that I've done and been to. So
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I got to meet one of the people that I've always wanted to meet, which was Lito Gomez's son, Tony God damn it. Tony?
I can't.
the young fellow from LFD. I'm butchering the name.
bless.
and this is the guy in the group that doesn't drink, folks.
It is Tony. But anyway, it's Tony Gomez. But I got to meet him and tell him about my experience first time smoking his line. And you don't get that time at the other events.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No,
for sure.
It's very well structured too.
Yeah.
The way it was organized, you can tell there's a lot of thought put into it.
Well, and it's, I mean, God, the amount of work just watching them hand out the bags and dealing with all of us dumbasses. Hey, how you doing? Oh, we're getting a water bottle? How many times does that poor woman hear that? Oh, yeah, I know I don't look like the picture of my ID. Just shut up and get moving.
Right.
Here's your cigars. Piss off, sir. It's like, but, and they do a great job. I mean, they put up with all of us and, all the goofiness and all the shit that goes on. The straight-haired, long-haired security guy, a little tight. I mean, you could have calmed down a little bit, sir.
Especially when there's no arm. Last year it was armed security. This year it was just foot cops.
Yeah, well, and this isn't a gun show. Take it easy, homeboy.
Was that the guy over by the tap room?
No, yeah, right there by LFD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was way into being a security guard. I mean, just whew.
We came walking up to see you guys at LFD, and I felt all eyes on me. I'm like, I'm just going to see my friends.
Yeah, but it's shit like that makes things funny.
Yeah, it does.
You got to point out stuff like that. And I'm sure he's a cool guy. Well, maybe he's a prick. I don't know, but it was funny. It was funny. It's just like because he was serious as shit. And I'm like, dude, you could step 2 steps over and you'd be in the shade, man. You're going to be much more comfortable 3 hours from now than standing out there and just baking your big ass off. No.
I love it.
So before we wrap this up, next show is a must-see. Y'all have to tune in. We get to interview Brian Overson and Kendrick. I'm not even going to try,
Jesus
much like
Christ,
Larry.
Can you get one person's name right?
I can't pronounce his last name either. Can you? So hush.
Greg?
What? I wouldn't have tried.
Greg?
Neither would I.
Greg? Cocaine.
No.
Just say yes.
So the boys from Apostate are going to join us on the next show via StreamYard, and we're going to talk all things Apostate cigars. If you've seen the several videos that we've put up, 2 really cool dudes who love what we do, and we love what they do, especially their cigars. So tune in on our next show that will release mid-September for that.
All right. Wind it up.
Well, it looks like the smoke is getting to the nub and my scotch glass is empty. So I think it's about that time. I want to thank our audience out there on behalf of myself, Greg and Larry, and Camera Gorilla, and our guest, of course. Thank you for listening. Check us out at LumaCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. Drop us a line and let us know you're out there. I'm Scott Robinson, and from all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to chatting with you on our next episode. But until then, take care, stay healthy and safe, and good smoke, good drink, and good life. And today's moral is, you can milk a cow, but you cannot milk a nut. You all right there?
Oh, that's fantastic.
If it's done right.
I really hope that got on there.
It got on the video version.
Love it.
What in the fuck is almond milk?
It's milk.
Show me the tit on an almond.